I've been hearing a lot of doubts over Robert Pattinson's recent casting as Batman. Of course, this isn't the first time I heard doubts when an actor was cast as the Dark Knight. I also heard doubts over Ben Affleck when he was cast. I also heard doubts over Christian Bale when he was cast. And I wasn't paying much attention to it at the time due to my age still being in the single brackets, but I also heard there were doubts about Michael Keaton's casting as Batman. Heck, there were petitions against that one, and this was before the rise of the internet we all know and love today. Now, what do all these people have in common? Answer: they all did a decent portrayal as the Caped Crusader. Now, mind you, the movies they were in weren't always top-notch. Examples: Keaton has Batman Returns, Bale has The Dark Knight Rises, and Affleck has the entire DCEU. Now, there's some of those that I do admit to liking, and I imagine there are some listed that you like. But let's face it, all movies listed are a total mess. However, as far as I can see it, all portrayals and interpretations of The Dark Knight have been top-notch and widely praised. Now, let's put Robert Pattinson's filmography into account. Seriously, people. Was he that bad in The Goblet of Fire? Was he? Was his portrayal of Cedric Diggory that horrible that you can't stand to see him in any other film? Was it? Yeah, you're also focused on those crappy adaptations of a crappy young adult vampire book series that you forget he's actually in an adaptation of a very popular young adult book series. Sorry, folks. You'll never hear me admit that Harry Potter is good. Nothing against it. I'm just not really a big fan. However, now that I even mentioned it, let's look at the Twilight series. In that, he portrayed Edward Cullen, a vampire, a dark, brooding creature of the night. Kind of like a certain vigilante he was recently cast as. You know, to portray Batman, you almost have to be able to portray a vampire. And he did that. Were the movies in which he did any good? No. In fact, I, like a great deal of you, probably cringe at the thought of even thinking that. Was he any good in them? Actually, going with the first movie, the only movie that I actually attentively watched, I'd say yeah. The lines weren't always that great. But that's not the fault of the actor, that's the fault of the writers. You can be a good actor but still have to deal with a rotten script. Those in the Star Wars films have to deal with that all the time. The point I'm trying to emphasize is, why express doubt when you haven't even seen what he can do in the role? And seriously, there's only 2 actors which were highly anticipated in the announcement that they were going to portray Batman: Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Enough said. I'm Mike, and this has been a Penguins Rock production.